introduce Ms. Noha once again. Now, I really did not have much to do with this project. It's all Dr. Hensley's thing. But since Dr. Hensley isn't here, we just wanted to have this project where they're studying effects of cannabinoids on cultured cancer cells of several different types. And that's been her project for a number of years, and it's expanding here in our department. So there should be a lot of interesting stuff coming out from that. And here's one of them.
Hi everyone, I'm Noha. This presentation is based off of a report that I wrote in Dr. Sauter's class. It deals with the cellular effects of CBD on several different cells. So a little bit of background and a disclaimer. CBD comes from Cannabis sativa, otherwise known as marijuana. I'll be talking about that a lot today, but in no way, shape, or form is this supposed to persuade you to use it in your listeners. So, like I said, CBD comes from a plant known as Cannabis sativa. What is Cannabis sativa? It's a plant indigenous to the Himalayan mountains. But it's been planted all over ever since it's been discovered, and it's been used for a lot of medicinal purposes, as well as a lot of other things. What are the two major components of this plant? So the two components are known as cannabinoids when referring to this plant, but the two major components are THC and CBD. THC stands for tetrahydrocannabinol, and CBD stands for cannabidiol. So if you ever forget, I put those two little cartoons. So CBD is the good thing, and THC is the bad one. So CBD, like I said, is short for cannabidiol, and THC is short for tetrahydrocannabinol. So CBD is the psychoactive component of the cannabis sativa, and THC is the psychoactive component of the plant. So the neurological pathway used by CBD is not understood, but it's theorized that it's either used by the CB2 pathway or the CB3. And THC is what is essentially responsible for the high sensation felt after either digesting the plant or inhaling it. And the neurological pathway used by THC is relatively understood. It uses the CB1 pathway. As you can see, the chemical structures are very, very similar. THC has a closed cyclic ring, whereas CBD has an open cyclic ring with a hydroxyl group, otherwise known as an OH group. So the cells that we'll be talking about today are T cells, stem cells, sex cells, and cancer cells. So what are T cells? T cells are produced in the bone marrow, and they are matured in the thymus. Essentially, you can think of T cells as your white blood cells. This plays a key role in your immune system. And what happens when you treat T cells with CBD? When tested in vitro, otherwise known in lab, it inhibited T cell growth. But when tested in vivo in a mice or rats, it was found to be immunosuppressive. So what can we do with this information? This could be a possible avenue of medicinal research to treat T cells with CBD in mice with overactive immune systems that could possibly level out the playing field. The next cells are stem cells. Stem cells, in my opinion, are one of the most important cells found in your body, just because they have the capability of turning into any cells that your body needs at that point in time. With age, however, stem cells tend to deteriorate. So what can we do with that information? If you treat stem cells with CBD, it can boost their regenerative properties. A possible avenue of research would be treating stem cells with CBD before stem cell therapy. That could boost the quantity of stem cells beforehand. And then the next cell type are sex cells, otherwise referred to as gametes. So gametes have two functions, which is to store genetic material and reproduction. These are by far one of the most sensitive cells in your body. So what happens when you add CBD to sex cells? It causes a low sex cell count in male mice, and it has yet to be tested in female mice. A possible avenue for this research would be to create a CBD-based male birth control. Sorry, guys. Cancer cells are what I do research with. Like Dr. Sauter said, I do research with Dr. Hensley, and we deal with treating cancer cells with CBD and seeing how much that inhibits growth. Cancer is a disease in which some of the body cells grow uncontrollably and spread to the other parts of your body. Cancer cells are completely unregulated. That's why they're so harmful. Your body tends to go into housekeeping mode when you have enough cells, but cancer cells don't have that ability. They keep on growing and essentially create tumors, which can either be benign or cancerous, and these are very invasive, so they spread all throughout your body, otherwise known as metastasis. So this is my research. These are HeLa cells. A lot of you may know that cell type. They were collected from Henrietta Lacks, and they're a type of cervical cancer. So in this, you can see that cancer cells were plated in a well plate, and they were left to grow, and then they were treated with CBD. So the first row, that was treated with a control ethanol mixture, and the second row was treated with a 10 micromolar solution of CBD, and the third row was treated with a 25 micromolar solution of CBD. And essentially the color difference, as you can see here, the darker color purple means that there are more metabolically active cells found, and the lighter purple means that there are not many metabolically active cells. So as you can see, when you increase the amount of CBD, the cancer cells tend to not grow and they die out. So obviously this is a good thing because there is currently not a cure for cancer, but maybe CBD could be used along with another type of treatment, possibly chemotherapy. It could help stop the growth in order to attack these cells in chemotherapy. So in conclusion, CBD is one of the two major components of the cannabis sativa plant, and it's relatively not understood, but we can see the different types of effects that CBD has on different types of cells. And what this means for us is that CBD may be used as a basis to several drugs in the near future. And then some references, I'd like to thank the School of Science and Mathematics, as well as the Biology Department, Dr. Sauter, and Dr. Hensley.
Questions for our speaker?
Dr. Breaker?
I have a question on the effects of the CBD on the stem cells.
Yes.
You said that it lets them proliferate more. Is that what
Yes, it causes them to not deteriorate. So when you grow stem cells in culture, you can see them deteriorate over time, and it prolongs proliferation.
It's just interesting to me that it keeps them alive, and
Yes.
cancer cells it's doing the opposite.
Yes, yes, which you would want these to grow.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have the same question with stem cells. So does it prevent aging if the CBD is?
Aging has to do with telomeres. Dr. Sauter taught us that in cell biology.
That's one minute.
But I don't know. That's not what this was about. But this is just.
I know they use like tissues, like that replace when they get a cut or something like that. They use stem cells to replace.
That could be one possibility. This was an in vitro trial, so not in mice or rats. This was in lab, so you don't technically know how it would affect a mammal or an actual species, if that makes sense. Any other questions?
All right, let's thank our speaker again.